I have just got a hold of Langton Rusere, and he will be joining us for special Make the Call live episode. Langton, are you on the line? Thank you so much for joining us after a day on the park. Your 4-day game started today, I believe.
Hi, Tom. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thanks, Langton. How are you?
Very well, thanks. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, we started a 4-day game today.
Great. So thank you so much for taking time between your day 1 and day 2.
Thank you for letting me be part of it.
So here we have a shot, an attempted reverse switch hit by Shai. The ball is very wide, as signaled by the umpire, and Shai ends up hitting his stumps. Langton, can a batter be out hit wicket off a wide? And also, what points do we have to consider here? Has Shai completed his shot when he hits his stumps, or is that still part of his follow through?
So the first part is, can a batter be out off a wide hit wicket? Yes, that is correct. They can be out hit wicket off a wide. The next part is with the consideration of whether they've finished a shot or not. If you look at the law, it talks about the batter being out of that motion of playing the shot. So if I'm the umpire here, he's still in the motion of trying to hit the ball. So I wouldn't say he's taken a break from the shot and then he's gone on to hit his stumps after that. So for me, this is out hit wicket because he's still in the same motion, so to speak.
I agree with you 100% there, Langton. So the correct answer for scenario number 1 is option C, both wide ball and out hit wicket for this delivery. Thanks, Langton. Let's move on to scenario number 2, which is another hit wicket appeal, this time involving Mohammad Rizwan. Let's have a look at the scenario, and you can talk through it while I play it with no sound on. Last ball of the day, and Mohammad Rizwan decides he's going to hit the stumps to take the bails off, as is customary at the end of the day. But is that something that a batter is allowed to do? Please talk us through this hit wicket appeal, Langton.
You don't normally see batters do that. But if you go back to the shot itself, you will see that he's trying to play a drive. He's missed the ball. Well, I don't know if he's missed it or hit it. He's played the shot. The ball's gone. Then he turns around and knocks the bails down. So there, he's done with the shot. So he shouldn't be out hit wicket in this case. You don't expect it to happen a lot. So there, he's done with the shot. Then he comes back and he hits the stumps because he knows it's the last ball of the day. So there, if any umpire gives this out, then you probably need to revisit law 35.2. Not out hit wicket. I would think that's the law.
100% agree with you there again, Langton. He was definitely done with his shot, and he was not taking off immediately for a run when he put his wicket down. So definitely correct answer for scenario number 2, D, not out. But I don't think he's going to be trying that again anytime soon. He's got a sheepish look on his face as he walks off the field there, Mohammad Rizwan. Right, let's move on to scenario number 3. Okay, so interesting shot. Interesting 2 shots, one of which makes contact with the ball. The first one doesn't. Let's have a look. And so, beaten in the flight, he was looking to play a drive and then eventually checks his shot and plays the ball in his second attempted shot using the edge of the bat over the wicketkeeper, and they stroll through for 2 runs. So Langton, somebody asked me, is this out? Hit the ball twice because he's made 2 attempts to play at the shot, even though he only hits it once? Or is there nothing wrong with this? Not out, play on. Your thoughts, please.
So for me, and I could be wrong with the definition. Hit the ball twice implies that you've hit it before, then you've hit it again. So once you attempt to play a shot and miss the ball, you can still hit the ball because you haven't hit it twice. You've played the shot twice, but you've only hit the ball once. So there's nothing wrong with this for me. It takes a lot of innovation as far as I'm concerned to be able to do that. So we'd play on, not on.
100% agree with you once again, Langton. Absolutely nothing wrong with this. So the correct answer for scenario number 3 is not out, nothing wrong. Now we move on to scenario number 4, which involves India against the UAE in a Asia Cup match.
Okay, thank you. Topic. Maybe I'm not the director. I'm the referee for this topic. You have checked the tweet. The delivery videos this side only, but okay, there's nothing behind the talking things. And I have a decision for the big screen, and it's up. Deploying the artillery since the following thing and the I got it. He before the artillery. Fine. Okay, move on, please.
So Langton, the captain of India in this scenario makes it easy for the umpires by withdrawing his appeal. If the appeal was not withdrawn, would the batter be A, out run out? Would he be B, out stumped? Or would we call and signal dead ball because the striker was distracted? And obviously then he would be not out. Tricky one, this, Langton. Please take us through it.
This would be a very tricky question because there's a lot that's happening here. And as umpires, we would need to think about a lot of things. But if we're looking solely at what's happening on the field, batter is out of his ground, whether distracted or not, wicket put down, they would be out stumped with nothing else happening, without any considerations of fair play, umpires thinking dead ball or not. And I will say once an on-field umpire has that TV signal, it means they're saying or they're thinking that the ball is not dead. Therefore, the TV umpire has to make a decision based on the review that's been made. In this case, the review is for a stumping. And it would be out stumped as was done in this case. But from a fieldcraft technique, we probably want to slow things down. And I guess nobody had realized that the tower fell. Both square leg umpire and bowlers and umpire would need to understand what the batter is talking about. And the batter is probably well within his rights to say, hang on, I was distracted. Because he's the one that mentioned that he was distracted. And if the umpires think that it's reason enough for them to then say dead ball, the ball becomes dead from the minute the batter was distracted. Which then probably means, well, not probably, definitely means it can't be out stumped because the distraction happened before, because the ball is dead from the moment when the action that made it dead happened, which was when the bowler was in their run-up, which would mean if they had been bowled, they can't be out bowled. If they'd been caught, they can't be out caught because that happened prior to that happening. So from a fieldcraft point of view, the umpires probably want to consult and say, was the batter distracted? Then if they can, in this case they can because it's a televised game, they can send it up to the TV umpire to check if that warranted the batter being distracted, which if I'm the TV umpire, I'd say yes, because it was a few seconds before he delivered the ball. The batter didn't have enough time to withdraw from the shot and on, because all bowlers now should know that if they have the towel, they might not get a wicket if a wicket falls and a batter complains about being distracted. I know that doesn't quite answer the question, but there's many layers to what happened in this case.
No, that's a very thorough answer to the question, and it proves that these types of decisions are not straightforward, and fieldcraft is very important in terms of how you deal with tricky scenarios like this one. I just want to throw a spanner in the works, Langton, for this particular scenario, because I have a problem with the fact that the striker has attempted a shot. If he had hit that ball for 6, I guarantee you he would not be pointing at the towel and asking for the ball to
Correct.
be dead.
Yeah. And that's now the thing, that if the umpires on field decide to send it up to the TV umpire, they would have to give a lot of information. This is what we
Yes.
think happened, on and on. Can you check if this guy was distracted? And it's a judgment call. The TV umpire on the day can say, but he went on to play a shot, which he did.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't have been distracted. If he was distracted, he could have pulled out of the shot. But others can argue that, hang on, it's some reflex thing. Muscle memory is a batter. I have to try and hit the ball because it's a short ball, especially in this case, it's a short ball. I'm trying to get out of harm's way by playing the ball or whatever the case is. So it's then up to whoever is TV umpire to go, was the batter distracted or not? And if they are not distracted, then they go on to the next thing, which is the stumped. Stumping then goes, it's out stumped because there was nothing behind the line, no issues. But it helped that on the day, the captain said, I'm withdrawing the appeal, which I thought was very noble of him to do.
Perfect.
So the TV umpire on the day can say, I am, because it's a judgment call, in my view, they're distracted, or in my view, they're not distracted. So it's dead or not dead. If it's not dead, that means this guy is outstumped. If it's dead, they are not outstumped.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Langton, for that thorough answer, giving us all angles from which we can view this scenario. Just in closing from my side, the request for, or the suggestion by umpires to fielding captains to withdraw an unsporting appeal, that is no longer allowed in international cricket and in Cricket South Africa's professional matches.
Yeah.
At club level, in Western Province Cricket Umpires Association, when there is a controversial appeal, we do recommend the umpires to suggest to the fielding captain, or at least ask the fielding captain if they are happy to go ahead with the appeal or if they will consider withdrawing the appeal. But at international cricket and professional cricket at Cricket South Africa provincial level, we as umpires are asked not to engage with the fielding captain. If there has been an appeal, we need to answer that appeal as per the laws of cricket. So quite a packed scenario for us, Langton, and I think an even more packed scenario 5. So I will play this one with the volume off, and you can take us through the DRS protocols and what the fieldcraft on field could have done differently in this scenario for us, please, Langton.
All right.
Okay, so here's our scenario. Caught behind appeal by the bowler. The bowler's end umpire gives it out. At the same time, the wicketkeeper did not appeal for caught behind, and he threw the ball at the stumps at the striker's end, and of course the striker was far out of his crease. The striker's end umpire did give the striker out stumped. We're not sure which finger was raised first, but of course we know that court takes preference. Here is the striker's end umpire giving the striker out stumped. Now, please talk us through the DRS protocol.
Right. So what happened in this game is the square leg umpire gave the decision out first for stumping.
Okay.
So this guy was out stumped. Then bowler turned around after this guy is out stumped to appeal to the umpire, and the umpire then gave this bowler's end umpire gave the batter out caught. And as you said, as the laws say, court takes precedence. With DRS protocols, here's what now happens. Because a catch has been reviewed by a player, if that catch is not out, well, before we even get to that, a decision for court has been given out, right?
Mm.
And because this guy has been given out court, the ball becomes dead at the instance when he was given out court, even though it happened after he had been already given out stumped, because the catch happens in real time. Well, in order, chronologically, the ball hitting happens first.
Correct.
So because the bowler's end umpire gave it out, even though he gave it out after the striker's end umpire, the catch, if it's reviewed and is not out, any other means of dismissal that is not an LBW or that can't be reviewed by the TV umpire like this one, of that umpire's decision making will then be not out. So in this case, because court takes precedence, it meant that the stumping does not then become a thing. So this guy couldn't be out stumped, even though it's what happened first, well, dismissals wise. But because the laws tell us that court takes precedence, and because he was given out court, the ball became dead at the instant that he was out court. So the stumping does not count anymore, which is unfortunate. I hope it doesn't confuse anyone on the call.
I think it's
So
brilliantly explained, Langton. Now I'd like you just to suggest better field craft from the two umpires involved on field.
Right, from a field craft point of view, and I suppose it helps that this is a level 3 course and not a level 1 course, so field craft is very important. Yes, you know your laws, because that's what Tom and Abdullah are teaching you guys. Yes, you know your laws, but there's also the umpiring side of things. When you're umpiring, what you want to do is, I'm a square leg umpire. Let's assume I'm a square leg umpire. Hold giving it out, because the bowler is also appealed, so that if there's anything that could be reviewed, we wait to see if my colleague at bowler's end is going to give anything out or not. So hold a few seconds. If he doesn't give it out, I then give it out. Or if I'm going to send it up, I hold for a few seconds. Because this ball has been caught, I will go, hang on, there might be a catch decision here. Hold off giving it out because it was miles out. Wait to see if my colleague is giving it out caught. If he's not, then I give it out. If it's a close one, again, well, this one wasn't a close one. If it's a close one, I still do the same thing, hold a little bit, even though, well, now it's easier with a close one, because the TV umpire can have 2 reviews of the same ball. So it's probably slightly easier, but you still want to give yourself a few seconds, then send it up if you're going to see if the bowler's end umpire is going to send something up. So what you're doing is you're giving the teams an opportunity to review the bowler's end umpire's decision before you send yours up.
Perfect. Wow. A lot for our candidates to take in, but again, brilliantly explained and very thorough. Also useful in terms of field craft, what we should, what we shouldn't do, when we should and when we shouldn't do. Thank you so much, Langton, for your input, and I'm sure all the candidates have learned a lot from